All right, today we're going on a bit of a builder's journey. We're going to explore how you can take a standard large language model, something generic, and transform it into a genius tool that's specialized, reliable, and perfect for whatever job you have in mind. Let's get into it. So let's start with what we all know. Foundation models, like GPT-4 or Claude 3, are just absolute beasts when it comes to language and general knowledge. I mean, they've been trained on a massive slice of the internet, and what they can do with writing, summarizing, and explaining things, it's honestly revolutionary. But here's the thing. For all that incredible power, these off-the-shelf models have a fundamental weakness, a real Achilles heel, especially when you try to use them for serious, real-world applications. And this flaw can make them unreliable, untrustworthy, and sometimes, well, just flat out wrong. So what is this critical flaw? It really just boils down to one simple question. What does a model that's designed to always give you an answer do when it comes across something it's never seen before, something totally outside its training data? And this right here, this shows you the problem in a nutshell. You ask a model that was trained on data up to 2022 about something that happened in 2023. Now, it doesn't just say, sorry, I don't know. Nope, it does something much trickier. It hallucinates. It confidently invents a totally plausible sounding answer that is completely fabricated. And that is the critical flaw we, as builders, have to solve. I think a great way to think about a foundation model is as a genius with amnesia. It knows an incredible amount about the world, but its knowledge is frozen in time. It literally can't learn anything new. And when you push it on a topic it doesn't know, it just fills in the blanks with fiction. So how do we fix this? Well, the good news is we have a toolkit. There are 3 core strategies that let us take these general-purpose models and make them specific, reliable, and trustworthy. Think of these as the must-have tools for any AI builder. So what's in this toolkit? Well, first, we can give the model much better instructions. That's prompt engineering. Second, we can give it a private, up-to-date library to pull facts from. That's a fancy technique called Retrieval-Augmented Generation. And third, we can basically send it to a specialized school through something called fine-tuning. Let's break each of these down. Let's start with what is arguably the most important technique for building AI that's ready for the real world, Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. This is our main weapon against that amnesia problem. Put simply, RAG gives the model access to your private, current information. So instead of just relying on its old static memory, it can now look things up in specific, trusted documents, like your company's internal knowledge base, product manuals, or the latest financial reports, to find a real answer. The whole process is kind of like an open book exam. A user asks a question, but the system doesn't guess. First, it goes and searches your private knowledge base to find the exact relevant information. Then, and this is the crucial part, it uses the LLM's powerful language skills to put together an answer based only on the documents it just found. Just like that, no more hallucinations. Okay, so RAG gives our AI the right knowledge. That's a huge step. But what about shaping its behavior, its expertise, its style? That's where our other 2 tools come in, prompt engineering and fine-tuning. These are all about teaching the model how to think and act. I think we've all done this. You give a really vague prompt, and surprise, surprise, you get a really vague, generic, and honestly pretty useless response. The model has no idea who the audience is, what the tone should be, or what you're actually trying to accomplish. But now, just look at the difference here. By giving it clear constraints, a specific format, and a target audience, we guide the model to create something way more valuable. This is prompt engineering. It's the art of giving the AI crystal clear, context-rich instructions to get the exact output you're looking for. And then you have fine-tuning. Okay, so if RAG is the library and prompting is the instruction manual, then fine-tuning is like sending your LLM to an intense, specialized training course. This isn't really about teaching it new facts. It's about teaching it a new skill or a new style. You train the model on hundreds, maybe thousands of examples, so it masters the specific structure of a task, like always using your brand's voice or learning how to turn a simple question into a perfect SQL query every single time. So this brings up a huge decision for any builder. Which type of model should you customize? As you can see, you can use a proprietary API from a company like OpenAI, which gets you top-tier performance and it's super easy to use. Or you could go with an open model like Llama 2. That gives you total control and privacy, but it requires a lot more technical heavy lifting. It's that classic trade-off between convenience and control. Now that we've covered the core ways to customize an LLM, let's look at what happens when we give it the ability to use tools. This is where we move beyond a simple chatbot and create what's called an AI agent, a system that can actually perform complex tasks out in the real world. You see, an agent is an LLM that does more than just talk. You can give it a whole toolbox, the ability to search the web, use a calculator, read and write files, or even run code. This lets it break down a really complex request like plan a trip to the Grand Canyon and find me the best flights into a whole series of steps that it can actually take on its own. So, after going through all that, what's the one key takeaway from our Builder's Guide? It's really this: the future of AI isn't about using some generic, all-knowing oracle. The real, tangible value comes from building. It comes from skillfully using these strategies, RAG, prompting, and fine-tuning, to create specialized tools that are reliable, knowledgeable, and perfectly designed for the job at hand. The amazing thing is, the barrier to building these powerful, custom AI systems is lower than it has ever been. The foundation models are out there, and the toolkit for adapting them is becoming clearer every day. So really, the only question left is, what problem will you solve?